For us, when we bought the place, one of the big attractions was the beautiful garden that needed a lot of work because it's just part of what we grew up with. It's part of, our family in a sense. It's a home, it's a family, it's a garden. I'm Al Lavada.
I'm Gerald Venezia.
Welcome to our garden. For us, the garden is a wonderful chance for Jerry and I to spend time together. He's kind of the designer, big picture guy. I'm the grunt guy. We don't always agree on what's going to happen, but it's wonderful that we're able to get out, work together, build something together, and then have a cocktail at the end of the day and enjoy the hard work that we've done.
Once we moved into our home here, we actually went from this very shady garden to this maze of sunlight. It's brighter and it really does change the way it feels. Now we have a garden that is certainly interesting and colorful and kind of well-rounded, and it works for us.
One of the great things about the plantings that Jerry's done is we actually have flowers pretty much 12 months out of the year.
We love to plant bulbs in the fall. As the snow disappears, all these little things start coming up from the ground. So there's really always something interesting to look at. Our master bedroom windows kind of overlook the garden. So the first thing I see in the morning, when I open my eyes, is sunlight and I see the flowers. So I love it.
The great thing about having an urban garden like this is you end up connecting with the neighbors. So we have these rhododendrons. We were unable to plant anything under them. A couple of years ago, our neighbor's ivy decided that it was just going to jump the fence. So now we have this beautiful ivy bed, which is under our rhodies. It completely resolved the problem. It's really wonderful. You get to look at the neighbors' gardens, they get to look at your gardens, and it really does bring everybody together talking about what are you planting, what works, what doesn't work. One of the great things about living in the South End is there are so many parks, open green space, and community gardens. The work that the trustees do with the community gardens is creating a neighborhood feel and a community feel that everyone is participating and enjoying.
Of the probably 50 plus gardeners in here, none of us garden exactly alike. Some people do it in a really structured manner. Some people do it in a really painterly, loose manner. So it is kind of a performing art. Hi, I'm Jim Hood. This is the Rutland, Washington Community Garden. I've been here just 20 years this month. The Rutland, Washington Community Garden was founded, I think, in the late 1960s. Having an urban garden is a great opportunity. It allows us to live in a dense setting of people. It allows us to live in a dense architectural setting, but there's a place where we can go and work in the soil, to have a contrast where we can see motion of the plants moving, grasses moving, very soothing. We can hear the birds. There's a little biosphere here, from rabbits and mice to red-tailed hawks. I love seeing the bees interact with our plants. We have so many different bees here. We have the eastern honeybee, and then we have probably 3 kinds of bumblebees. They're a solo, non-hive oriented bee. It's great. It's just beautiful to see. I kind of think of myself as a plantsman. I come in every day, I kind of need it. I just look around, does something need to be done? I'm really into the botany and the design of the plant and why it looks that way. And so I go for ornamentals. It's not just the flower though, it's also the foliage. They really appeal to me. In the last 2 years, I've worked with maroon and pink and silver and chartreuse together. And just love it now. It's, you know, I gave it a chance and it scared me a little bit at first. I like watering because it's a nurturing, feeding type of thing, and I'm a cook and I like feeding people. And in my garden, I have plants that like a lot of water, and then I have plants like echinaceas that like, no, keep the water away from me. I don't really want it. As the South End changes, so changes our garden. One of the really beautiful things about it is you meet people who you're not going to meet them otherwise through your own social corridor. And I love seeing what other people plant. You discover plants you don't know about. This is a different type of year, and the garden has been particularly important because it really is a steadying presence in our lives. It's a bit of normalcy.
From my experience, I'm an enormous advocate of open spaces and community gardens and how much richness they bring to our communities, and I think they're really, really important. Hi, I'm Jane Bell. Welcome to my garden in the South End. I've lived here almost 30 years. In the summer, we do like to eat out here, especially during this pandemic. We put our yoga mats outside and exercise. Hebe, the statue behind me, I have to say she is just a wonderful feeling for me. Everyone around me looks at my garden. They all enjoy having something nice to look at, or something green, something soft to look at. We live vertically, so when we think about what we want the garden to look like, a lot of it is making sure that it gives everybody kind of a sense of a little of calm and peacefulness and beauty. I really believe that the community gardens in the South End have made the South End the most livable part of the city. This should be in every urban environment. It's a way for people to grow food, and I really believe feel safer and feel like they are really engaged in their community and actually making it a place where people want to live. You become friends and you feel it becomes a really strong neighborhood. It's really therapeutic.
Well, the first thing you should know is that it's a shared space. There are 3 families here that share the garden, and it really creates a sense of community. We're referred to as the patio people in our building. Hi there, I'm Liz Tilke. Welcome to my garden in the South End of Boston. So our styles are all a little bit different, and we all have colors that we prefer and plants that we prefer, so you'll see a variety of things throughout the garden. We all go to the garden center together and buy all of our supplies and then plan our garden days together. We sit at night and have a drink to enjoy our hard work. I have a hibiscus here, which is my favorite plant in the garden. I do have one plant, it's called a winter rose. It actually flowers in March and it's quite beautiful. It's a perennial. You know, as we get into the summer, we see more and more and more flowers, and then in the fall we go into mums and pumpkins. So we try to spread the season out as long as we can. So I really love gardening because it helps me connect with nature while still being in the city, getting my hands in the soil, seeing the fruits of my labor, the beautiful plants and flowers that I'm able to grow and enjoy all year long.
Gardening brings our community together. I mean, it's what makes it possible. And if we didn't have the gardens to bring us out in the first place, we wouldn't have gotten to know each other. It's a wonderful connector. I'm Catherine Wilmore. I live in the South End of Boston, and this is my garden, and welcome to it. What I love about the design of this garden is that there are 3 distinct spaces. Next to the house, it's more formal. There's a patio and there's sort of structured beds. And then it goes into almost like a little woodland walkway with fieldstones, which winds its way up to the upper garden, which now is a totally out of control country garden. I also share this space with my little Tibetan terrier, Maggie, who loves it out here. Sometimes she loves it too much. She'll find a little soft spot of dirt and dig it. In the spring, I have about 1,000 tulips that are mainly white and lavender and purple. It's just like a miracle. Every spring is just like a miracle. I love black-eyed Susans. They're so very happy. And I love white. I think a garden always has to have white to play off the colors and actually let the colors stand out. I spend a lot of time at my kitchen window looking at my garden. It sort of settles me somehow. I love it. And it was actually designed to be seen from that level. Because I'm out gardening and my neighbors are out gardening, we connect. This particular block, this alley, every June, except this year for maybe 20 years or more, we've had an alley party. It's like a throwback to the 50s almost. All the kids are out running around playing. But sometimes we are able to get together in our gardens because we're able to be 6 feet apart or more and still enjoy each other's company. So it's just been wonderful during this time.
I can leave my apartment and come up here, and it's like being in a different world, but I haven't even gone out of the building. It's like an oasis in the sky. Hi, my name is Melissa, and I live in the South End. I've lived here for a long time, and I am very, very fortunate to have this glorious roof deck. Basically, I plant what I can eat, and I plant a tremendous amount of vegetables. It's just such a beautiful thing to just grow food from nothing. I plant primarily tomatoes, plum tomato, and then 3 different varieties of cherry tomatoes. I have white eggplants this year, peppers, beefsteak Jetstar. The basil is everywhere because when the tomatoes start coming, we like to have mozzarella, basil, and tomato. And you can come up here and pick a salad and just go downstairs and make a salad. Everything's edible, and it works very well. I've gotten good at knowing what I can plant in this tremendous amount of sun and wind. There was a hailstorm a couple years back, and my tomato plants got massacred and I cried. I just came up here and cried. I get up first thing in the morning and come up here with my first cup of coffee and water. I love being up on the roof. I love looking at the city. I love looking at the sunset. I also have a community garden, and I have for years. It's a nice addition to the neighborhood. And I've met a lot of people over the years because of the land trust and the South End Garden Tour. What's nice is that you start to engage with people that like to garden, and you have some things in common. Because there have not been that many roof decks on the tour, it was important for me for people to see what you could grow on a roof deck.